Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm Amy. Today I'm here to do a new type of video for you guys. A lot of people on BookTube every month post a TBR video, so the books that they plan to read in the next month, which I love to watch. I think it's really interesting to know what kind of books people are reading, and of course, you know, we always want to add more books to our TBR because the hundreds we have on there are never enough. But for me, I'm a mood reader. I can't just check off a list of books that I've put aside on my TBR, because I do have a TBR in the sense that I have books on my shelves that I plan to read, or books that I'd like to buy and then read, or check out from the library and read. But I'm a mood reader. I go with what book sounds good at the time. Sometimes I want something sad, sometimes I want something funny, sometimes I want YA, fantasy, and so on and so forth. But I do tend to have books that are in my radar. I don't know what I'm gonna call this series yet. I believe you would call it a series. So I plan to do a monthly video on books that are in the forefront of my mind that I'm hoping to get to soon and feel that I'm more likely to pick up. But just because I do this video does not mean at the end of the month that all of these books will be in my wrap-ups. Who knows? There maybe could not even be one of them. But I figure this is just a way to talk to you guys about the books that I have on my shelves or I'm meaning to read and I feel really excited about, or have a reason or a purpose to read a book at a specific time. I will talk about them here. So if you're interested in seeing the books that I have my eyes on, then go ahead and keep watching. We will go ahead and start with the book that I am currently reading, and as I've mentioned on my channel before, I don't read more than one book at a time, so this is the book that I am reading currently and solely focused on, and that is My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante. I believe it's pronounced Elena. I've done a little bit of research and that seems to be the proper pronunciation of her name. And this is the story about two girls growing up in Naples, or in a town near Naples, about mid-century, anytime between the 30s up until present day. This is the first book in what is considered the Neapolitan novels, a series written by this author, and the two girls' names are Elena and Lila, as what Elena refers to her as. This book is told from Elena's point of view, and it starts when they're very young, around the age of 6, and this book is the book that focuses on childhood and adolescence for them. Like I said, I'm about halfway through it. There are times that I really like it and other times I feel like it's a bit slow. I know this is a very popular book, and I have mentioned time and time again, I'm a character-driven reader, so that this book is a slow burn doesn't bother me. But there is a huge cast of characters. There is a little cheat sheet in the front, but I do find myself needing to refer back to it. I think that's also partially because all of the names are Italian. This book is translated from the Italian, let me look, by Anne Goldstein, and like I said, I'm enjoying it. I'm interested to see what my final thoughts are on it, but as of right now, I do plan to continue with the series and finish this book hopefully within the next few days. I have mentioned this book on my channel several times already, and now that school has started for me, I am back with all my little preschoolers and very excited to be back in class with them. They bring me lots of joy, but I feel the need to fill my cup up with knowledge again and educate myself a little bit, and I would like to actually get around to reading The Importance of Being Little by Erica Christakis, and the little subtitle on it is What Young Children Really Need from Grown-Ups. I've heard amazing things about this book. This book is just about why it's important to be little and not expect your kids to be little adults, because they're not little adults, they're children. So this is a nonfiction book. I plan and hope to get a lot from it and mark this thing up and utilize this knowledge in my classroom and be able to pass that information on to my parents as well, and really hope to get around to this because I think it would be a great thing to start off the year with some knowledge and to be excited about some new information about my little kiddos. So far on my BookTube channel, I have read a Frederick Bachman book a month. I definitely want to read this one, although there's another one because I have his last two books that I have not read by him yet. But the first is his novella, which is Every Morning the Way Home Gets Longer and Longer. Very, very short novella. like 70 pages, and there's also illustrations in it, colored illustrations. They're really pretty. And this is the story about a grandson and his grandfather who are reminiscing about the grandmother who has passed away, and also just talking about their love of math. And there's a little note from Frederick Bachman in in the beginning of this book that just says, I just wrote this for myself. I was dealing with things in my personal life that this story evolved from, and I just decided to publish it. So this is my grieving and dealing and emotionally coping mechanism, and here it is for you. And I have no doubt that I will love it and likely read it because it's 70 pages and it's Frederick Bachman. I mean, I don't think you need any other reason to read this. I also have a short story collection for you guys. I have not read any short story collections since I started my channel. Actually, I don't know if I've ever read any short story collections ever. Oh, that's a lie. I've read Men Without Women by Ernest Hemingway, but I think that's the only one. But I picked this up from the sale section at my local library, which the most expensive thing I think is the DVDs and audiobooks, which are $2. So it's become a problem. And I plan to read The Tsar of Love and Techno by Anthony Mara, excuse me. And these are short stories, I mentioned that already, that all revolve around an obscure Russian painting, and I think it follows it throughout the centuries. I don't know why I'm so drawn to this, but I keep picking this book up because I have this process that once I finish a book, I pick about 3 to 5 books that I think I want to read next, and then I talk to them. I don't talk to the books. I talk to my husband Aaron about them, and he kind of helps me decide what I want to read next. And this has been in the running the last 3 books I've finished, I think. So I think it's time to pick it up and time to expand my horizons and read a short story collection. If you guys have read this, please let me know, because I know this was an anticipated book. At least I'm guessing it was, because there's about 12 gajillion copies of it on the shelves at the library. So let me know if you've read it or have heard anything about it. I'd love to know your feedback. And the last book that I am including on this list, I could include far more, but like I said, I'm a mood reader, so I'm thinking that I will probably pick about 5 books a month that I have, like I said, I have my eyes on them. And that is The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee. I mentioned on my channel before, YA doesn't seem to be my forte as much anymore, but the way I have heard people talk about this book, I couldn't be more excited to read it. This is the story, if you haven't heard before, about a guy named Monty who is a bisexual man, and his father is ready for him to settle down and take over the estate. So Monty gets to go on his tour of the continent and gets to go on all these misadventures with his best friend Percy, who he so happens to have a crush on, and his sister Felicity. And I've yet to hear a bad review on it. I will link Matthew's. His name is Matthew's review down below. He is a booktuber I've recently discovered through Russell from Paper and Ink and Paper and Books. I don't know. Matthew's review on this book is wonderful. I've also heard from Roya Ava Reads. They all love this book. I'm so excited to read it. I'd like to read it this month just because I've heard that it's a really good summer read, and even though it is September, it will stay fairly warm throughout this month where I live, and I just think it'll be a blast. And I also know that Mackenzie Lee plans on coming out in 2018 or 2019 with The Lady's Guide to Pirates and Petticoats? Pirates and Petticoats? Maybe, something like that. And from what I hear, Felicity's pretty amazing. So that's the last book on my list. There you have it, you guys. There are the books that I have my eyes on. Maybe that's what we'll call it. Books I have my eyes on. Books in my radar. I don't know. Help me out here. If you guys have ideas for a title for this series, please let me know. And let me know if there's any other mood readers out there, because I swear there's so many people who are so very, very good at just reading the books on their TBR. And I'm terrible at that. I never know what I'm going to pick up next. But if you liked this video, please like it. And if you loved it, please subscribe, and we'll see you in my next video. Happy reading.